Hello everyone, this is Diane. I have a few things I want to cover in this video. As you can tell, my voice is better, but it comes and goes, so it may go out and back in again at some point during this video. We will find out as we go, but the most important thing is I'm feeling better. So there's that too. So the things I want to cover are this journal and when it will be in my shop. And we will talk about and begin some work on the next journal. And someone asked me how to take apart a golden book. So I said that I would demonstrate it. So I'm going to take this one apart. I'm not going to do anything with it right away, but this is one I've been wanting to use. So I'm going to take that one apart. And I wanted to show you something that I made that doesn't have anything to do with glue books. But first, let's get to this one in case this is why you're here. This is the Santa's Toy Shop journal that I've been working on with the vintage retro 50s feel to it. It is done, and I will be making the video when I'm done with this video, and this will be in my shop on Friday. I don't give a specific time because I get interrupted by various things, but I'm going to say 2 o'clock or after 2 o'clock on Friday, Eastern Standard Time, on Friday, November 5th. I had to look at my watch to see what today's date was. Okay, so then there will be a flip through on my channel at that time. All right, so this will just be really quick. My church is involved in packing up some shoe boxes for children for Christmas. And it's with the Samaritan's Purse, Operation Christmas Child. And they get, not only do they get a box of Christmas presents, but they also get the gospel. They have whoever, the people that go and take the gifts to them, they gather the children together and they hand out the gifts and then they present the gospel story. And so it's a really good way to get the gospel out to children, and that's what Christmas is all about. So my daughter is a very good and creative gift giver, and she and her children are packing 10 shoe boxes to send. And she got some marbles from Amazon, I think. Wherever she got them, they were in a mesh bag. And she wanted to put them in a nice cotton, fun, printed bag. So she asked me if I would make some drawstring bags. So that's what this is. She bought the fabric. She forgot about the drawstring, so I went to Walmart and got this. It's 10 yards, so it's a lot more than I needed, but I'll have it if I need it again. And I just made these cute little drawstring bags. They didn't take very long, and they can hold the marbles. So she'll probably be coming over to pick them up soon. Like, I don't know if she's coming today, but... So she asked me to make 4. So I just wanted to show that to you. Now, let's take apart this Gingham's book. This is how I do it. I don't know how other people do it. I do remove this whole part. I don't use that. And some people do. Some people take it apart so that this is still attached, and then they reinforce it so that it doesn't bend like that. But I don't. This is what I do. I start the cut just by, well, this is old, so it's cutting very easily. So I just cut it right there. So that part's off, but now we have to get the staples out without damaging the pages because we want to keep them in the folio. So here's what I do. I just take the back and kind of pull on that. There's a staple there, and there's a staple down here somewhere. I can't feel it yet, but the goal is to make the prongs start to lift up. So I do that by, you can see them there. by pulling on this part, and it kind of starts lifting up the prongs of the staple. Couldn't find them because they're way down closer to the edge. So this one is being tough. Those prongs did not come up. But then I just take whatever tool I might have handy and lift the prongs. That lifted up pretty easily. Sometimes they're difficult, which is why I like to use this to get a head start on lifting them. And then you can take this part off, usually. It's like it's glued. Yeah, that is glued. I've never seen one like that. This edge is glued to the pages. Ah, there we go. So staples are gone. Now, let's see if we can take these apart without tearing them. Okay. So if they're not really old golden books, this is how they're put together. 2 signatures of 3 pages each. And they're all ready to be used now. And I did the video where I was showing how I put together that Santa's Toy Shop journal. I showed how I prepare these pages to go in. I'll try to remember to link that video below. So that's it. That's how I take it apart. And hopefully I'll get to make this journal soon. I've been wanting to use this for a long time. Just other things come first. So I hope that was helpful for you. Now I'm going to be doing this one. And this is a little golden book, but it is one of the old ones. The very old ones. And did I know the year of this one? 1946. So these are put together differently. There are more pages in these, and they're not put together in the same way. Some of the pages are not connected to another page folio style. So at least the front and the back pages would come off loose, and they wouldn't have another page connected to them. But in this case, that's the way this one was. But there were lots of pages in this book that I didn't want to use. They told about Herod, King Herod, who was jealous of the king that was being foretold and that was being born, and he wanted to know where the baby was so that he could have him killed. So that was part of the story in this book, which is in the Bible, and it is part of, it is the true story of Jesus, but it doesn't necessarily need to be in the Christmas journal that I'm making. But also, there were pages that were torn and pages that were cut. I don't have it right here, but oh, here it is. There were some pages in this book where someone had actually cut something out of the pages. So, and drew crude drawings. Sorry about that. I forgot that was on the back. So there were pages I couldn't use. So, when I said in the other video, when I said that the method that Gail Agostinelli came up with and showed is the method I always use when I do golden books. I kind of lied when I said that, because I don't always use the entire story when I do golden books anymore. If I want to use the entire story in the right order, that's the method I use. And I give Gail credit for that method, which is really cool. But a lot of times I just take the pages that I want to use and I have them separate like this, and I don't put them in any special order. I just use them for the images and make my journals that way. So anyway, that's how this one is going to go. So I've already put one together just with a hinge, just paper, scrap of paper. I've got my pages cut for the journal, and I have these scraps. So I'm just going to take the pages in no specific order, and I'm just going to hinge them together so that they can be sewn into the journal. So I do that. You can use glue, but rather than waiting for glue to dry so I can fold the page, I just use my tape gun. This is an advanced tape glider from Scotch, otherwise known as an ATG gun, and it has double-sided tape inside it, and I use it. I don't use it as much as I used to because I do prefer the wet glues now, but I do use it for some things like this. So I just put a line of the tape on each side of this, and I'm just going to lay this paper down on it as straight as I can, and then lay another one down. Leaving just a tiny gap between them. This page I will probably cover with something because it talks about, oh no, that's not the one. Oh, that's not the one. But again, it was talking about Herod wanting to kill the babies. This book does have some cracks on some of the pages, so I will have to address them. Doing a little, just gluing on a little paper or embellishment, or using washi tape or something. I have two. Oh, this is the one. Herod's face grew dark with rage. So I will cover this page with something else. A lot of times the Christmas story, like the nativity story in golden book form, is it's called The Christmas Story, and it's illustrated by Eloise Wilkin. And I've made several journals with that book cover and those pages. So I had one of those books to use this year, and then I found this book cover at the farmer's market that I go to, where I buy my grapes, my Concord grapes. And there is a bookseller there that always has golden books. So because it was just something different, I went ahead and got it, and then I put the Eloise Wilkin book in my shop in a Christmas bundle, and it's already gone. She had more. She had several of that book, the Christmas Journal, or the Christmas Story, with Eloise Wilkin illustrations. So if I haven't found it elsewhere during the year, when I go to the windmill again in the fall, I'll probably be able to get a copy there if I want it. I'll do one more. I don't need to do all of these with you watching because I do have other things that I want to do in this video as far as prepping for this journal. Admittedly, I am making a lot of Christmas journals, and The reason I'm able to do so many is, well, because I'm a fast worker anyway, but I am working on these journals at least 6 days a week, including evening time while I'm cutting things out and doing fabric flips and stuff in the evening. But also, I am not making embellishments that are very time consuming for the most part. But I am adding, they're not plain blank simple journals. I'm adding a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff is just things I can glue down that are really cool embellishments, or I have vintage pieces to put in the pockets, you know, so it's nothing that takes a terribly long time to make. But I'm making so many journals because I have so many supplies, and I just wanted to use up as many of the supplies and book covers as I could. But I still think they're nice journals. And I have one more that I can do. So I got out my stamps, and I'm just going to like color a sheet of paper and then stamp these stamps on it, and then I'll be able to cut them out into tag or card shapes. I've done that before with these stamps, and I thought they turned out very nicely. So I am going to get out my glass mat. If I can get to it without making too much of a scene. Here it is. And I realize there's a glare. Should I turn that one off? That'll really get rid of one of the lights. And I'll get my oxide inks out. And my spray bottle of water. I think I need to fill it. I didn't fill it after the last time. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. There's a little bathroom right next to my craft room, so that was quick. I like to use a lot of blues and golds in these kinds of journals, these Christmas ones, but also some pinks and reds for these painted backgrounds that I'm going to do. Get out some greens and yellows. Just do 2 sheets, I guess. We'll start with 2 sheets with 2 different color palettes, and then I can stamp whatever images I want onto each one. This one is Chipped Sapphire and Salty Ocean. Squeezed Lemonade. I know the lemonade will be overpowered by the blue, so I put a little extra of that on. And then I'll probably add a brown in the second layer I'm just gonna squirt some water on here. And I'm going to put the paper on it. And that just came off in splotches. Won't matter so much because I'm going to be cutting it up. I'm going to add some, it didn't want to come off, Stormy Sky. Speckled egg. And I think I'll add a little bit of spun sugar. I'm going to wet this, and maybe it will help the colors blend more. I've done this before, and it looks much better than this. So, let's try just brushing it right on this. Maybe I needed to gesso my paper, but I've done it before. Yeah, it's not working. This paper is too absorbent and it sucks the color in and that doesn't give it a chance to blend. So I'll still use this for stuff, I'm sure I can, but let's see. This paper is much thicker. I don't even know where I got this. I don't know what kind of paper it is. I don't have it labeled. But I think I'm going to just try doing some tags. I usually have better luck with them. Normally I put the ink on the white. I don't think that would make much difference though, do you? I haven't done this in a while, so maybe I'm forgetting something I need to be doing. I'm going to try it on the white. Maybe I just didn't put enough water on it. I'm going to go ahead and use this same paper just in case it doesn't work. Oh, see that? That's much better. That's what I wanted. So maybe it has to be on that white piece. I don't know. But I'll be able to stamp some of these images on it and then cut it up into cards, pockets, tags, whatever. All right, let's do this again. How about if I turn this around? I could just do it on my craft mat. There, then you'll get a better view. Okay. One thing I do want to do is add a little bit of brown to that. So I'm not going to just lay it down in there. I'm just going to touch it down in spots. It gives some depth. See if I can get the colors to oxidize. I'll just let it sit and dry and see what happens. Again, chipped sapphire, stormy sky. I'm using the same colors because I want the page to turn out better. And then we'll do one that has more reds, but I'm going to put a little green in here. That looks very pretty. I'll add a little brown and a little abandoned coral. I get enough spam calls, but I get spam texts too. Do you? Telling me I've won something. Okay, I think when this dries, it's going to be really good for backgrounds for my stamps. Isn't that pretty? I think if I had gessoed the paper, it would give it a better surface for blending and oxidizing, but I didn't want to gesso the paper. Looks much better than the first one. Okay, now I want to do one that has more pinks and reds. I have a couple of stained glass images that are fun to stamp when I do that. So let's do some fired brick and some spun sugar. This is very pale. And abandoned coral. And then I'll add some other colors on top. This one feels like a different cardstock. Not sure if it is. I'm pressing lightly because sometimes you can get a handprint if you... Yeah, that one turned out like the first one. Kind of blocky. If you don't want it to get muddy by blending too many types of colors, you let it dry in between the layers. Hopefully that's dry enough. Okay, it does look blockier than I like with that red there, but as I cut it up, I think that'll be better. And I think it'll be fine for stamping my stamps on. And I can't do any of that right now because the pages are soaking wet. So let's move on to the other thing I wanted to do. I like to use embossing powder when I do these triptych stamps. My battery is running low. These are 2007 Stampin' Up! Stamps, and it comes with this frame, and then these images each fit in the frame. So there's the Holy Family, an angel, and the 3 wise men. So first, I stamp this in gold, or I stamp it and emboss it in gold. Just getting a paper. This is a paper that I typed up for my Sunday school class, and it was left over. So rather than throw it away, I use it for scrap in here. So I'm just using a Versamark stamp as my embossing stamp pad. There are other stamp pads that actually are marketed as embossing ink, whatever you have. I didn't stamp it yet because I wanted to use my embossing buddy on it. And I know I got it out, but I don't see it. Oh well, I won't use the embossing buddy. That's just to remove static and stuff from your paper so that the embossing powder doesn't stick where you don't want it to. And I know I got it out, but I don't see it here. It's just a little bag. I don't even know what's inside the bag. That looks pretty clean anyway. Okay. Oh my gosh. I don't know where my brain is. It's melting now. I'm using black archival ink. Beautiful. I just have to do that 2 more times with the angel and the wise men. But you don't need to watch me do that 3 times. So, let's see how my other pages are coming along. They're still pretty wet. So, no way would I want to cut them while they're wet like this. It would just tear. So, they don't look like much now. This one is the best. That one looks like a hot mess, but I think when I get it cut apart, it'll look better and stamped. And this one doesn't look so great either. But that's what I'm using. If they don't look good after I stamp them and cut them, I'll do something different. The other ones that I made had a much paler color. I think I was using distress inks and not distress oxides, which are more intense. I might like them better if I just use distress inks. So I might try doing some of that, see how I like it. But for now, that's going to be it for the video today, I believe. Let me just show you before I go what other kinds of papers I have for this journal. I've got the scrapbook papers. I have some parchment in a cream color and blue, pale blue, and then I have this vellum with this pattern on it, which I thought was really pretty. And this paper, it's a cardstock with this gold border. Some more scrapbook paper. I've got some pages from Ideals books. And music paper. Oh, there's the embossing buddy. And I've got some really cool pieces to use. I was able to pack up all the red and green and really Christmassy stuff because I don't need any of that stuff for this journal. I've got some gold ribbon. I've got this lace with the silver threads in it. I thought this was beautiful. I just have a couple scraps of it. I think it came in a box of stuff. But it has snowflakes and holly, but I love the color. And so I'll probably iron that and use it. This gold sheer fabric and this sheer fabric with the gold or green glitter on it. And this is interesting. It looks like a gold stained glass. So that'll be beautiful. Just got some little pieces in there. I printed Mrs. Coggs' The Nativity set. I've used that several times, and I just love the images. Of course, they're perfect for this kind of a journal. I have some of these pocket things, all these things to make pockets with, that I cut with my Big Shot. Vintage Christmas cards and a postcard. I didn't have very many that had the religious theme this year. And some scrap papers. But these were in a book that was falling apart, a very vintage thing. Maybe not a book, but a stand-up thing, decoration. And it was in really bad shape. And it was used as a Christmas card. Wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. But it's got all these elements, and they just kind of were arranged like this was probably up here. And this piece. And I took it all apart because it was falling apart anyway. There's the wise men. So I'm going to use these in the book somehow. I just wanted to show you them. So I hope that intrigues you as to what this book is going to look like when it's put together. I'm excited to get going on it. Thanks so much for coming with me today. I hope you found something useful in this very eclectic video. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a creative day today. Bye-bye.